Hi and welcome back to Crafters Grove. Today I'm going to show you how to make handprints and footprints in clay. You can do this for your pets. I'm doing it for our new little one. So first thing is you want to measure the hands and feet of your baby or pet that you're going to be doing the footprint on, so that will give you an idea of how much clay you need. This will also give you some practice with holding still their little wiggly feet and hands that will help you with making the footprints and handprints later on. So Sculpey, the polymer clay that I'm using, is listed as non-toxic, which is excellent for using for this project, but I also put in a little barrier of coconut oil. You can use lotion as well on the hands and feet just to help keep the polymer clay from sticking. Next, you want to lay out some parchment paper. This is great to work on because you can also use it just to stick the clay in the oven after you're done. Next, you want to select your clay and start working it to soften it. So the type of clay you use is actually really important. You can see the white clay in the background there, which was actually Sculpey Primo, which is a harder clay that's intended to really hold any details of sculpting that you're doing. But what we found after softening it up, even with a softening agent, which we used was coconut oil, it really didn't get soft enough to hold the handprints and footprints. So instead we used a Sculpey 3 clay, which was a lot easier to work with, but we still needed to soften it quite a bit, and then couldn't even push the foot into the clay. Rather, we needed to kind of push the clay around the foot, as you'll see here. So after you've softened the clay, it's good to shape it relatively into the shape that you want and close to the size of the foot. And then you're just going to, as I mentioned, shape it around the foot, kneading it in so it envelops the edges of the foot and really takes on that print. So once you've molded the clay to the footprint, you can spend a little bit of time smoothing the edges. Afterwards, you need to widen an edge a little bit in order to allow for a hole to be poked through. So I'm doing that just by pinching the edge just beside the footprint and making sure not to disturb that footprint at all. Make sure that the clay is still wide enough that it's going to be strong after the hole has been poked through. Because I was able to get quite a large surface area, I decided to poke the hole with the end of a paintbrush. It's still a small hole, but it is larger than you'll see that I do with the footprints. So you're going to push through one side and then again push through the other to make a clear hole. And you can widen it a little bit by moving the paintbrush in a circular motion as you see me doing here. Then if there's any excess, you want to smooth that down with your fingers or the edge of a paintbrush just to blend it in with the rest of the clay. You can also spend some time smoothing out the rest of the back of the print if you like as well. And we just repeated those exact same steps for the handprints as well. I will say that one of the best things you can do for yourself is do this when your baby is sleeping. Working with a sleeping baby is much easier than working with a not sleeping baby, as they move their hands and feet a lot more when they're awake. When poking the hole that the handprint is going to hang from, I mean, ideally you might want to have it right at the top of the hand, but for me, I just poked the hole wherever there was excess clay. And because I wasn't working with an abundance of clay, the only excess clay really was between the thumb and the index finger. I used a toothpick, which did produce a much smaller hole as I mentioned earlier, but I'll show you how to thread even a fairly large ribbon through that small hole in a moment. Once you have the print and the hole in the clay, you're ready to bake, and here I have my 4 already baked and ready to be decorated. So now I'm using a fabric marker to write on the back of the prints and do a little bit of a design. These are presents for Christmas, so I am writing down First Christmas on the back, and I'll put our child's name at the top as well. I found that the handprint was a little bit difficult to see in this dark clay, so I decided to put some dots around the edging of the handprint that will just allow the handprint to pop a little bit more visually. To create a bit more visual interest on the back of the print as well, I did add some stars with the silver fabric marker. If you found you've made a mistake with the fabric marker, a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip and a little bit of friction will remove that excess marker from your polymer clay. For the footprint, because we did it in a lighter clay, I did use a Sharpie instead of that fabric marker. Because the fabric marker was silver, it would be completely camouflage on silver polymer clay. Now all that's left to do is add your ribbon by threading it through the hole, tying a knot, and then if you want for a little bit extra detail, you can add a bow at the top of the knot as well. If your hole is too small to thread your ribbon through, what you can do is grab a small object like a toothpick and poke the ribbon through the hole using the sharp end of the toothpick. And there you have it. That's how you immortalize your little loved one in the form of their handprint, footprint, or paw print. So I hope you found this helpful and find a way to immortalize your loved one, or maybe you could do one with your own handprint. You also don't need to do this as an ornament, certainly not a Christmas ornament. You can skip the hole and just use it as a paperweight. There's really a lot of different options for this. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for our next video. And if you want to be notified when that'll be, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification. And we'd love to hear from you, so write in the comments below, and don't forget to like our video. See you soon. Bye!